Hi, I'm Dr. Leala Holcomb. And I'm here to help you support your young readers at home. A parent has asked me the following question. Is it necessary to read books aloud to my deaf child? I'll take a few moments to answer that question. My answer is yes, absolutely. By reading aloud, I mean reading a book with a child through spoken English or sign language or both. Some people call it story signing. Regardless of what we call it, this is about the experience of reading a book with your child. Reading aloud is often done with a caring adult, one whom the child trusts. Therefore, reading aloud can be a profoundly intimate experience, one that involves teaching the child about practically anything and everything that exists in the world, both real and fantasy. Through this experience, the child gets to experience firsthand the value and the joy of listening to and sharing stories, perspectives, and information. The child can see how and why stories matter. Stories can function as a mirror in which the child gets to see themselves and their experiences represented in the text. Stories can also be a window in which the child sees through to learn about lives that are different from their own. Life is complex, and reading aloud makes time and gives room for the child to make sense of complex and important issues in life with support and guidance from a caring adult. It also opens doors for discussions on cultural information and meanings, and discussions on your and the child's personal experiences, feelings, and thoughts on various topics, as well as discussions about similarities and differences in beliefs, values, and norms in the world. Research has demonstrated that reading aloud is actually a prominent motivator for children to put in the effort to learn to read. We often find that children, even as young as 2 or 3 years old, insist on reading books back to adults, even when they don't know the words yet. This means the caregiver has successfully made the experience of reading books both meaningful and enjoyable for the child. There are an abundance of benefits to reading aloud. The experience enables children to internalize implicit knowledge of language, vocabulary, grammar, and story elements in ways that are both fun and positive for the child. The question of how to read with your deaf child is an excellent next step. The how is actually the most fun and important part of reading aloud. When it's time to read, we want our child to respond with excitement and with anticipation, and we want them to ask to read. We want them to want to read. So how do we develop that excitement? No matter how silly we may feel, we must bring the characters in the book, in the story, to life. This can happen through the movements of our bodies, our arms, our face, our eye contact and eye gaze, facial expressions and gestures, role-playing, body shifting, the variety of tone and pacing, and how we use pauses, the more animated we are, the more terrific the experience is. It's also helpful to pause once in a while to ask the child what they think will happen next in the story, why they thought the character felt a certain way, or thought something specific, or engaged in a certain activity, or whether they've had similar experiences before. If the child asks questions about the story, this is a great opportunity to provide historical, social, or cultural context of the events and make real-world connections to this world. This authentic and rich language interaction around literacy is what makes reading aloud a superpower in developing children's literacy skills. Thank you for your question. I hope this has helped. Oh, and research suggests you should be doing this daily for 30 minutes, and that a routine around this practice helps a lot. I personally like doing this before bedtime. And because children tend to avoid going to bed, they will beg for one more book to read, which is a fantastic problem to argue over.
For more information about teaching reading, please visit readingrockets.org. Reading SOS is produced through a partnership of the National Education Association and WETA.